All right. Thank you for joining us today. We just wanted to talk a little bit about the new changes to the manager portal for Mobilebytes. They've made quite a few enhancements in not only the way it looks, the way it performs, but they've also added an enterprise capability to it. So when you have multiple locations, it's much easier to manage. We won't go over to the enterprise information at this point because not everybody has that. But if you do need some information on that, please contact us individually. So the new layout is really following more of a standard Google theme. So you'll see this throughout. It keeps things a little bit more standard so that you'll be able to find everything in the same place on every page that you go to. Your sidebar over here takes the place of what ran across the top of it originally, and it actually does make it quite a bit easier to follow. Those stay the whole time, so you can toggle back and forth fairly easily. So we're going to keep this really casual. Ask questions when necessary. You can shoot a chat. You can interrupt me. You can do whatever you'd like. And I'll apologize in advance if I cough because it might happen. So you still have your settings page. Everything follows the exact same format or file that it did before. You go first into your location information, your payroll, your transaction settings, the app settings. As of the last time, you'll know that this end of day is very important right here. If you haven't already adjusted that, please make sure you do that because it will run end of day at a particular time. And the other thing, if you haven't already enabled offline transactions, that is something to think about. That allows you to store credit cards and run them as pending at the time if your internet goes down, and you'll still have those available. It doesn't actually store in the system, but so you don't have any credit card data that would get you in trouble, but it does allow the transaction to continue. You now have your save button right down here. When you need something that'll be saved, it'll highlight in blue. And it'll tell you that your save is successful. And it actually has said save failed, so that'll tell you that you haven't put something in that is required. Possibly you haven't filled out the location name or something along those lines. The required fields will show you right here. So as you go down, it'll follow the same route. You'll have the option for online ordering. If you don't have that, you can skip right over it. It's fairly self-explanatory if you do. Some of the things that are standard will already be clicked on in different areas if it's something that the majority of the people would use, and it would be something you would toggle off if you don't want it. Again, you'll go into loyalty. If you're using that, this is where you'll enter your awards, your what's new image if you have something like that. It'll show you right here if you are enabled or not. Just click there if you do not want to use that. The staff is the same. Again, even though you've got your staff list here, you can see them all across. You can make a new from here. You can edit by just clicking on the name. All the names still stay to the side now, which is really nice. And then you have all the information to the right-hand side. So you don't have to click back in and out to go to the next person. You can just click on them. You've got your trash can over here if you need to delete an employee, your save, etc. Job types, again, the same. You'll click on them. It'll save all your types over here so you can see if you've made it, what you've done, what kind of views they have. Gives you a little bit more information in each section without having to go back and forth, which is nice. Your permissions follow the exact same list of items as they have before. Your blue checks will mean that that's something that you have enabled. If it's not checked, then you don't. And you may want to check these occasionally. Sometimes Mobilebytes will add a feature and it won't automatically be checked. We saw this happen when you had the option to hide cash on a checkout, and so some people were finding X's on their reports because that feature was added, but it doesn't come automatically checked. So go ahead and check that occasionally. Like this one, as an admin, I would definitely want to be able to change my online ordering. Or if you want to, you can click this top button. This is new, where it says allows access to all current and future permissions. If I click that, it takes everything else out, but now everything that comes out in the future, I'm automatically allowed to do. So that's a great feature. Report access is the exact same. It goes down, gives you your list of reports. And for some reason, I can't see tips and payouts. Who knows why? So it's easier to see at this point whether you can or not. Just make sure you've got blue check marks. Your time punches are here. So you can go in and click on these. I would, but there's an awful, awful picture in there, so I can't. Your rooms follow the same configuration as they did before. The difference is if you want to change a room, they used to have the up and down arrows where they show up on your iPad. Where you used to see the up and down arrows, now if you click the lines and drag, it will move that room. So there are no more up and down arrows in the system anywhere. House accounts, again, same configuration, basically just a name. You can add by the plus sign here, you can add by the new. Paid in, paid out, looks the same. Your display formats, again, all the same. You have your lines down here. You can switch between, if you're like, if I can't remember, oh, I changed the font size and I want it the same as the cold printer, but I can't remember. It's easier to toggle back and forth now without having to go back to your main menu. Customer receipt, again, looks the same. You have the opportunity to show the seat detail if you want. You can break it out by if you're using a seat and you want it broken out that way on the receipt. You can do so. Those items or options are up there. If you want to change your headers and footers, they're here. If you want to change your fonts, but the system is actually the same. Authorized iPads, this tells you again what iPads. It looks just the same as it did before. You can delete here. Where this says mark as a server, that's not just this one is going to be, this iPad will be my server socket. This is more if you want to force it into something like that. I wouldn't suggest programming your server socket there. I would continue to do it on the iPads. That's kind of a bypass system if you need it. Printers and payment gateway all look the same, so there's no real big changes in that, just a little bit easier to use. Your menu, I'm going to click down into my location really quick here. All right, this is where I think the ease for building menu items, this new layout is really helpful. So again, we know we start with our context items when we're adding. You can add them new here. You can add it here. You can also copy. In context items, it's not as, you're really just doing a name and a short name if you want to. So I wouldn't cut the duplicate feature in this is not as exciting, but when it gets into ingredients and modifiers, it's very exciting. So let's make a new ingredient. We'll call it our test ingredient because, to be honest with you, I have no idea what ingredients I still have in there. And say we want to use all of our context items for this ingredient. We save that, and originally when you did that, it did not have a duplicate function for ingredients. So you would have to go in and enter all of those context items again. In this case, you now can duplicate ingredients, so we can just go ahead and do test 1, and it saves all of our context. It really does save a lot of time. I just programmed one yesterday, and that made quite the difference. Again, with your modifiers, it's the same way. So if we make a new modifier, it shows up a little bit different. Your colors are down here. And I like the fact that you've got your modifiers over here. If you can't remember what you've done or what you have the screen over here that you can see. So we're going to make a test modifier. We'll keep it in purple. I do want it to show on my display. So this is going to show the name. So if I have multiple modifiers, it'll tell me it's my test modifier, my vegetable modifier, my whatever. I'm going to show my name in the header. We start adding our ingredients here. We can put our price in right here if we want. And then again, if you want to change the where they show up in the line, move them with by dragging them here. If you want to get rid of them, if they're mistakes, throw them in the trash can. This right here, because I have a size option built in, if I were wanting this to show up as a different price for the half pint, I could enter that right there, and then it would automatically price this for my half pint price, but I don't in this case. But that option is there if you have sizes there. Just leave it blank if you don't. So if I save it, and then I want to make another modifier, I can copy here. It just takes out the name, but it leaves those in. So if I want to add to it or whatever, but it's just really nice that all the sections now have a duplicate. It makes your life much, much easier. Okay, so we'll make a test item. And if we want to go down here and say, okay, this is similar to the sirloin, we click on that, click our duplicate button. Now we can change the name, the short name, and the description. It's kept the price, the taxable. It's kept all of the modifiers that were previously in there. And you can change different, this comes with this one, this comes with that one, etc. But it'll go ahead and do that for you. Now, it did have a duplicate in the old one on just the menu items, but it's nice to have it in the ingredients and modifiers as well. Everything else with the exception of the layout works the same. So you've got your sections of your menu. You've got which things are assigned to that section, which menu groups that section shows up in, etc. If you're doing online, you can exclude anything. Like if I don't sell alcohol from my online, I can exclude it right here. Your adjustments work the same. You've got your chosen adjustments. You've got your name, your default amount, whether it's a % instead of a dollar amount. There is an area where you can make and this is probably gets in deeper. I don't know that there is any place where that has a tax exempt adjustment. If there is, probably call us and talk about that first before you start using it. There is now a better image library. Before you had to upload your image every single time if you wanted to put something in. Now you can store them. So if you have different images that you use for other things, they can be stored here in your image library. This is where they'll be saved if you do it for online ordering or if you just want your iPads to show up with images on your choices. There is also a new, and I think this is great, attributes library. This is royalty free. So if you want this is obviously mostly would be used for online ordering, but if you want your menu items to say spicy or hot, or this is a staff pick or whatever, you can create an attribute, attach one of these images to it, and use it for free. Dashboard looks the same. Such a sad restaurant, we haven't sold a thing this week. Reports look the same. You just go down and go ahead and click on your report, run your report, export your report, PDF, Excel, looks the same as it did before. And then your user feature down here, the one thing that they did add just recently that I absolutely love is you can delete users now. Originally, you could just make them inactive, but now you can actually delete them. And they're not showing up. That's weird. Might be because I'm in my own account. Look here, hold on. Let me show you this really quick. Dun, dun, dun. That one time when you think you're going to show something and you're not. 5 minutes ago, they were all listed right here, and there I could click on them, and there was a delete button. I'll find out why that is not showing right now. But so that is the basics of the new system. I mean, it's very, very user-friendly, easy to navigate, some tricks to make your life easier and faster. Is there anybody that has any questions?
I have a quick question. When you are going to update after you save, do we still push the same way?
We do. Click right here. Oh, let me go back into. Please hold. All right. So say we make a change. You would go ahead and save it, and then right here is publish changes. So you don't have to do the drop down anymore, which is nice. The other thing that's nice about this is this will tell you what was changed and when and by whom. So you'll know if there was something that you changed. Now in this case I have to pick mine to change because yours won't look like this. It won't come up with all the names, but it'll tell you what was changed and by whom. Also for you. So you'll be like, did I publish this change? You can double click on that or just click on that and it'll say you published it 324 by Raquel at Spark. You'll be like, oh yeah, I did publish that. So the same exact thing right there, publish changes. Any other questions? Sounds like we're good. So you all know where to find us if you need us, if you have any problems or issues. Give a call. There's when you call in, there is a new choice to choose Mobilebytes right on the phone tree. So if you do that, it'll ring here to the office and you will not have to go through the help desk.